Hey, all this video's a little bit late. We had a friend recently ask us about what scissors we use, why we use those scissors for certain projects, when it's appropriate to use certain types of shears and when it's not appropriate. So I wanted to kind of give a quick breakdown. By quick, I mean hang in there. This is going to take probably at least 5 minutes. But I thought this was a good time to do it because we're cutting out masks right now. And I'm cutting, as you can see, I'm cutting a lot of fabric all at once. And certain types of shears can do this work, certain types can't. And it helps to know what's what the difference is. When I'm cutting this much fabric at once, this is, let me see, this is a dozen layers of fabric. Some lightweight muslin cloth for the mask liners. It's some kind of lightweight to medium weight cotton for the shells. So it's a decent amount of fabric. This would probably be equivalent to cutting, you know, maybe 6 layers of a pretty robust denim at one time. But for this kind of stuff, I take usually a 10-inch or a 12-inch shear, something heavy duty like an upholstery shear. Tonight I'm cutting with these Wiss heavy duty shears. This is a 10-inch. Hold on. Yeah, this is one of the 10-inch heavy-duty shears that Wiss makes. These are really, really stout scissors. Out of the box, they're not that sharp. They're good. They're decent. They'll cut vinyl. They'll cut TPU-coated nylons and polyesters. They'll cut 1,000 denier corduras. They'll cut denim. I do all of our shear sharpening in-house. It's a service that we offer as a business. So I tend to hone and sharpen even scissors that I buy brand new. Just because sometimes the factory grind on a pair of shears, it's pretty quick and dirty. It's not a really good even grind. That's not to be disparaging of any scissor companies. I love these shears. For the price, you can't beat them. They're one of the best heavy duty scissors on the market, and I think they retail between 30 and 40 bucks. So not a bad price. This is a pair that we tried out. We bought them as a set with more of a tailoring shear to go with it. They're called Karuke. I think I ordered them from Wawak. Maybe Wawak.com. Phenomenal resource for anybody that owns a sewing business or wants to own a sewing business or does sewing even at a hobby level. Wawak's going to have an incredible selection of threads, notions, machine parts, scissors. If you own a business, they've got stuff for dry cleaners. They've got stuff for alteration studios. Incredible resource. But these, they were an import shear that we tried. I've been incredibly pleased with them. They've got a really nice big grip, good rubberized coated handles, and they hold an edge really well. I've honed these a handful of times over the couple years that we've owned them. Phenomenal. So for stuff like this, when you're cutting lots and lots of fabric at once, you're cutting heavier duty fabrics, stick with something like a heavy duty shear. These will offer some hand fatigue. They're going to make you tired. They're really big. They're really heavy. It takes a lot to cut through this much fabric. So expect that you're gonna have some soreness. It doesn't hurt to wear a glove if you feel comfortable wearing something like a work glove while you're doing this. Ginger actually makes a 10-inch shear. Ginger makes one of the finest shears on the market. They're an incredible brand. I think they're made in Italy. You can get these a couple different places. You can buy Gingers at Joann Fabrics. They're going to be retail with a decent markup on them. But you can find them online. You can find them used on eBay. If you have somebody that hones scissors or sharpens scissors for you in your area, it's never a bad idea to buy a used pair of shears, because if it's a really well-made shear, the metal and the temper on the metal is going to be good enough that it's going to hold an edge if you take it to somebody to get them honed, to get them sharpened, to get them fixed up. This is an American-made brand. They're called Heritage. Again, 9 or 10-inch heavy-duty shear. Really, really great. Super smooth action, easy to hone, pretty simple design. They have a couple different angles on the bevel to the blades, which makes them just razor sharp, and really, they cut wonderfully. Other than that, a nice pair of tailoring shears, something that you can get a really, really sharp edge on. These are Guggenheims. They're a new brand that I discovered through a sponsored Instagram ad. They're running a deal on them. Spent 25, 30 bucks on them on like one of their 50% off sales that they seem to run pretty often. These are spectacular. I've never heard of these guys before, but they specifically, they've built their brand around saying that if you don't love them more than any other shear you've ever cut with, they'll give you a pair of Ginger shears for free, which these are wildly expensive. Ginger is an old school name brand, and they are pricey. I've spent up to 75, 80 bucks on these. It's not unheard of to spend $100, $130 on a pair of really good fabric shears. There's a company called Kai that's distributed by Wolf Industries. Way awesome scissors. It's crazy how well they cut. It's crazy how good they feel in the hand. They're very ergonomic. They have a great angle to them, so it doesn't lift the fabric as you're cutting, which is a big concern. But that's about it for fabric shears. I keep some on my tool belt. These are a pair that I found in the garment district in New York while I was traveling. They were 10 bucks, and I couldn't pass it up because I'm obviously a little bit of a scissor junkie. But these were just some really crazy looking import shear that I'd never heard of before. I'd never seen them. I asked the gal at the counter, I said, hey, you know, are these any good at $10? She goes, they're awesome. You'll love them. And I was with my friend Chelsea. We were traveling with Warnwear, and I was so excited to pick them up. I used them the rest of the tour, and I've honed them once. I've had them since last October, I think. They are super nice. And again, 10 bucks. So every now and then you can find great deals on really good shears. I keep a pair of paper shears on my tool belt. These are an old Concord shear. I found them in my father-in-law's stuff when he passed away. They were totally garbage. They were completely, I thought, beyond repair. We were able to hone them and fix them up, and now I use them just for cutting patterns, cutting paper. That's a super important thing to think about, is you want to have shears that are just for paper. These are Milwaukee brand, or I've got one Wiss, I've got one Milwaukee here. You can pick these up at Lowe's or Home Depot a lot of the time. So these are, I buy a lot of our paper shears from local hardware stores. They hold a good edge. They're not quite good enough to use for fabrics. I'll cut some fabrics and trims with them, but more often I reserve them just for cutting paper. We use something called oak tag paper, which is like a heavy manila paper for our patterns. That's what we make our permanent patterns out of. So it's important to never use fabric shears on paper products. It'll destroy the blades. It'll ruin a good pair of shears. So it's super important to have these sequestered. So I keep, you know, usually I find these at thrift stores, at vintage stores, you know, just super simple. This is an old pair of Craftsman that I found in my mother-in-law's drawer, and she was going to throw them away, and I said, wait, I'll take them. She's like, they don't work. Well, again, we were able to get them sharpened and honed, reset the angle on them, and now they are a spectacular paper shear. I don't really have any paper within reach to show you guys, but if you can find someone in your area that does this kind of work, it's totally worth paying for. I'm not going to quote prices on it just because I don't want to undercut anyone's business. I know what we charge for them, but it's a really great thing to have access to if you can find someone. If not, feel free, ship them our way. We do them for a good deal, and a lot of times it's way cheaper than buying a new pair. And if you got a pair that you love, why replace them when they're dull? They're designed to last a lifetime. You know, this pair of shears here, these are over 50 years old. There's a pair that I got in today to work on for a client. They are a hand-me-down from his dad. His dad owned an upholstery business. Now this gentleman inherited the business, still works it. He's been working it for 30 years. They're probably a 60, 75-year-old pair of scissors. And they're beautiful. They're super dull. They won't cut at all, but by tomorrow morning, they'll be brand new again. So please let me know if there's any other questions we can answer about scissors. That's just kind of a brief crash course. At the end of the day, it all comes down to preference. The Fiskars with the orange handles that you get at your local fabric store or craft store, those can be great scissors. Sometimes they need an additional honing on the blades, but it's just about what you want to be using and how often you're going to be using them. It's one of the most important tools in any sewing industry job, or if it's just a passion or a hobby of yours at home. So hope that's helpful, guys. Have a great one. Everybody stay safe. Everybody stay healthy. We're sewing a bunch of masks right now. If you need some, holler at us. We'll take care of you. All right. Be good.